Hi everyone, this is Michael. I'm gonna be doing another pick-by-pick tutorial, the Hearthstone arena. So I have gonna choose a priest this time, though usually I would recommend the paladin. Very solid hero ability, nice cards, can be mid-range, has some weapons, great hero to pick. But since I already done a warlock and a paladin tutorial, so I'm stuck with the priest. Actually, I like the priest because his healing ability can create subtle card advantage. If you know how to use it correctly, you can get far ahead. But it's kind of tricky. He has some dead cards, especially in the more specialized priest cards. Can be sometimes problematic without a whole deck constructed around them. But without further ado, let's jump into the picks. Great picks right off the bat. Some Fury Protector is pretty good, but it doesn't compare to the Knife Juggler and Twilight Drake. I read yesterday that there's a running joke on the internet that Knife Juggler has taunt, because it's like the first target that your enemy is gonna hit, and usually it's correct. So we have a choice between that and a Twilight Drake. It can be in a more control-ish deck. The Twilight Drake can be very powerful. You cast it on turn 4 and it's like 4/7, and it's a really big problem for your opponent. It's a really tough one. I think I'm gonna go for the Twilight Drake because it synergizes better with my hero skill. If I would be a paladin, I would obviously take the Knife Juggler because, you know, every time I spawn a guy, it shoots something. Well, okay, anyway, moving on. Two great picks. The Shield Master is very good, especially in, you know, buying the time that you need in this type of control-ish deck environment. The Money Berserker, I really like this second drop, because it's either a 2/3 for 2, which is reasonable, or it can become a really big problem. Yeah, it really messes up your opponent's calculations. Yeah, I mean, do I drop a small 2-drop that has less than 3 attack, but then I can activate my Berserker, right? So will he do that? Will he skip a turn? I don't know, but either way, sounds good to me. Yeah, but nevertheless, I'm gonna go with the Shield Master, both because it's better, you know, power-wise, and because, well, I feel that this deck is going to be a more slow control-ish deck. Yeah, and he's great in, you know, stalling, especially after the first few turns where I might lose tempo advantage. Gonna go with the Shield Master. Okay. I really don't like the Mind Vision. I mean, because, I don't know, it gives you information theoretically about your opponent, but I don't know, I really don't get this card. The Abusive Sergeant is actually better than it looks. Sometimes it's a nice combat trick, but, well, you know, overall it's not a very, you know, impactful card, right? Unless it's like a constructed warlock deck where you're super aggro, but this is definitely not the case. The Ogre Magi is solid. It might be his spell damage ability might be useful if I get a Holy Nova, for example. And mostly, though it's like the 3rd, 4th drop I get in a row, but it's definitely the most solid card of the 3. Great! Wow. All 3 cards are, like, well, decent and above. I don't really like the Divine Spirit because sometimes it can really spoil your opponent's day, and sometimes it will be a dead card. Shadow Word Death is pretty good. I prefer the other one. I think it's Shadow Word Pain that kills smaller creatures because it's cheaper, but like there's no real dilemma. Holy Nova is mass removal. You pretty much take every mass removal that you can get your hands on. It's very useful, especially in this deck. where I stall, etc. Okay, wonderful. This is a no-brainer. As I said many times before, don't take Murlocs. Murloc deck is infeasible. The Battlecry is symmetric, 2-2 for 3 is awful. Bottom line, don't play the Oracle in Arena. The Pinside Summoner, theoretically it can give you a big tempo swing, but you know, 2-2 for 2 is not good. I wouldn't play it usually unless I have some, I don't know, aggressive mana curve or something. I'm gonna go with a very solid Injured Blast Master pick. It's a 4-3 for 3, so even if I wasn't Priest, I would be happy to get him. It's a 3-drop, which I definitely need. Anything cheaper than 4 will be very much appreciated. And besides, of course, it can be healed up to, you know, back to 7 with my hero ability, with the Holy Nova or anything else I'll get later on. So, no-brainer here, Blade Master it is. Okay, Zolrak Petrach, it's not that bad, it's below average as a card, I mean, just by value. I'm not that desperate, you know, getting taunt guys. Circle of Healing is situational. In constructed decks, it's very powerful actually. In a priest deck, but here there's, you know, no dilemma. The Blade Fist Ogre is, you know, just solid, late drop, powerful, big threat. The Circle of Healing, I mean, sometimes it might be very useful, sometimes it can really suck. So I won't take the risk, I'll go for the solid pick. Wow, cool. Okay, not even gonna talk about the Raider, even though it's, you know, decent. Two very strong picks. As I said before, the Shadow Word Pain is very useful, especially containing early aggression or picking off, you know, troublesome taunt guys later game or anything. There's a surprising amount of creatures with 3 or less attack in, you know, that you'll see in an average arena game. Okay, it wouldn't. I mean, it kills my Shield Master, for example. Yeah. But nevertheless, I think I'm gonna go with the Northshire Cleric for 2 reasons. A, it costs 1. I really like stuff that costs 1. B, sometimes the card advantage that it generates just, you know, can win the game alone on its own. Your opponent, you know, starts thinking, should I play something that doesn't kill off the cleric, because then I'll attack with the cleric, heal it up, yeah, etc. So it's a very hard choice, but I'll go with the cleric. And I'll remember that I probably need removal sooner rather than later. Okay, the boar is awful, not even gonna talk about it. The warden, again, it's not that bad. It basically buys you time. Yeah, it buys you like a turn until your opponent just kills him off because of the 7 health. But I don't need to pick him because I have a really nice card. The Power Word Shield is better than it looks. It replaces itself. It costs only 1 mana. And the +2 health often can generate card advantage on its own. Yeah, I mean, if before it was an even trade, now my minion lives and your dies. Yeah. So I really like the card the more I play it. Okay, now we're screwed. Yeah, bummer. So Mind Vision, talked about it. The Grizzly is not bad. I would say it's around average. It has taunt, I like that, but I'm gonna go with the Raider, even though I have no weapons, obviously. It's a 2-3 for 2. It's solid. I have no 2 drops, which starts to, you know, to bother me. So I'm gonna go with the Raider. Yeah, to have something useful to do in, like, second turn. The Grizzly would be fine as well. Okay. Oracle is out of the question. The Crazed Alchemist can sometimes be really useful, like randomly, but I would pretty much never play him on second turn, obviously. It's a very weak 2-drop. So I'm gonna go with the Golem. Basically, I don't like him because his Battlecry, I think it's a really serious advantage for your opponent. Yeah, so I would like never play it the first, I don't know, 6 turns or so. But you know, especially if you both have 10 mana, yeah. So 4/2 for 3 with charge is actually very good. So yeah, I'm gonna take the golem, mostly because I have nothing better to take. Okay, next pick. Actually, all 3 of them are decent, but the light spawn is actually very good. Again, you know, you need to have buffs for that guy. Yeah, you need to be able to heal him, to have, you know, powered shield or something like that. But you know, on face value, it's a 5/5 for 4 mana, which is amazing, right? It's better than a Chillwind Yeti. So yeah, definitely I'm gonna go with the light spawn. The Darksteel Healer is actually better than it looks. Yeah, you add 1 mana to a Chillwind Yeti and get a pretty cool ability, especially in this deck. Maybe it can, you know, combine with a Cleric or a Blade Master or something like that. But yeah, light spawn it is. Okay. Wow. Trade leader. Actually, I played him just yesterday in my arena run, and he proved to be quite useful. But usually he's, you know, below average card. Yeah, it's pretty situational. You definitely don't want a 2/2 for free. Yeah. We have 2 very strong cards. Okay, the Mercenary is a bomb, as you probably already know. His disadvantage is usually not very relevant. I mean, there are 2 options. Either your opponent gets rid of the Mercenary, or you just demolish his board. Yeah. The Temple Enforcer is also very good. I mean, 6/6 for 6 is not bad already. And, you know, compare it with the Ogre, which is definitely solid. I trade 1 toughness for a very useful ability. Okay, again, even if I don't cast it on a light spawn, which is, you know, really fun, you still usually generate card advantage with that health. That being said, I think I'm gonna go for the Mercenary because it's really good. Okay, I don't have you know, I don't have any 5-drops. Holy Nova doesn't count. Hopefully, if you use Holy Nova on turn 5, you're in trouble. Okay, we got a legendary. Woohoo for us! Yeah, I'm not very excited about these legendaries. Okay, so let's talk about them one by one. Harrison Jones is probably the worst. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's his stats would be solid for a 4-drop, and you know, if your opponent has a weapon, you really, you know, you really get ahead. Yeah, if your opponent doesn't, it sucks. Yeah, so about 2/3 of your matches, he will be pretty useless. I don't like him. Leroy Jenkins, in general, it can swing games because it's a big removal spell, the way I see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing tempo. Yeah, I'm not gonna, you know, crush my opponents with my amazing speed and attack, and kill him by turn 7 or something. This is not gonna happen with this deck. And the whelps, you can usually deal with the whelps that your opponent gets, but I don't know, it's situational. Yeah. On the other hand, the Black Knight is usually pretty useful. Okay, I probably wouldn't play it until the opponent has a serious taunt creature. Yeah, so I look at it as a removal spell. But I usually believe that, you know, it will find a target. Yeah, and it's a late game card. So I'm gonna go with the Black Knight. It fits better with my overall strategy, which is basically, you know, stall, get control of the game, win with better cards. Yeah, just stronger cards. Yeah, hands down. So I'm gonna go with the Black Knight. Okay, Grunt, too weak. 2/2 taunt is not very useful. It can, you know, sometimes really spoil your opponent's day if your opponent just dropped a 3/2. Now he's stuck. but in general I wouldn't count on that. It can randomly die to a turn 1 2/1 creature. Anyway, both of these are very solid 3-drops. I like them both. Lately I'm actually more inclined toward the Crusader, the Divine Shield. On turn 3 it's not that easy to get rid of that without losing card advantage or tempo advantage or something like that. So yeah, but both cards are very solid. The Panther, like a 3-drop that can trade with a 4-drop usually is quite substantial. But I'm gonna go with the Crusader. Yeah. Okay, moving on. No dilemma here. Too weak. He's actually, I don't know, unlike popular opinion, I like the Voodoo Doctor quite a bit, but the problem is usually very simple. You don't really want to play it on turn 1, and it's every creature with 1 toughness might randomly die to some, I don't know, to a hero ability or I don't know, a Frost Nova or anything. Cone of Cold, excuse me. Yeah, so I don't know. That are not as usual. I don't need to think too much because I have a better option here. The Brewmaster can work well with all kinds of creatures. Yeah, remember that you can bounce just a big guy that's wounded. Yeah, so just bounce some back to hand and drop him next turn or something, and your opponent has to deal with it again. It's a 2-drop, which I lack. It's a 3/2 as a 2-drop, which is very nice. I have only 1 first turn drop, so I probably won't be screwing over myself with this battle cry. So, not a problem. Wow, okay, Warden not an option. This is actually a very good question. The Mind Control, when it was 8 mana during the beta testing, was amazing. Yeah, it was definitely overpowered. At 10 mana, it's so balanced that I'm not even sure it's... I'm gonna pick it over the Shadow Word. But, since right now, the only thing that looks remotely as a bomb is my Mercenary, which is just a big guy. Then a Ogre, which is also just a big guy. So I think I might reach, just really late game where Mind Control really shines over Shadow Word Pain. Yeah, but my only worry is that I might get overrun. But I think my curve is not that bad. I feel like right now I can sustain some early aggression, and then win with my card advantage and healing, etc. I'm gonna go with the Mind Control and be a little bit opportunistic. Yeah. I hope he'll, drop a really big guy, and then I'll really screw him over. Okay, Silence. That's actually better than I first thought. Yeah, mostly because it costs 0, so it doesn't cost you tempo. Nevertheless, I have better options. The Hunter is solid. I would rate it about average. Mostly because the 1/1 is very easy to kill. There are certain situations where you want to, split up your creature, but usually you don't. I mean, yeah, if it would be 3/4 for 3 mana, it would be really good, but it's not. Yeah. Anyway, the Berserker is pretty solid on its own. And especially in this deck, in a priest deck, that I have some healing with my hero ability, with my shield, etc. It can really get out of hand, yeah, because it gets wounded, but then I heal it up, and it's now bigger because it got the +3 attack. Yeah. So specifically in this deck, especially that I have only 1 other 5-drop, so it's okay. I'm gonna take the Berserker. And I'll be on the lookout for cheaper cards. Okay, cheaper cards it is. Nightblade. I don't like the Nightblade. Yeah, compare it with, for example, with Maggie. Okay, it costs 1 mana more, and instead of spell damage, you get 3 damage to the enemy hero. Don't like it at all. I don't know, I mean, again, I'm not a tempo deck, and usually even if I am a tempo deck, I would rather get something cheaper for my 3 damage. Raid Leader, we talked about it, and this deck I feel like it's a bad place. So I'm gonna go with the Squire, which is actually better than it looks usually. I mean, well, not late game it usually sucks, but as any other first drop, unless it's a Cleric, which is amazing. So I'm gonna go with a Squire. It will make me feel safer, in the sense that, you know, I have nice first drops, so I might be able to, you know, defend myself against really early aggression or something like that. Okay, moving on. I have an interesting question because both cards are very good, and I'm not sure what should I do. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 drops. I am getting a little bit top heavy here, so I'm gonna go with the Dwarf. It can sometimes really swing, you know, tides of battle, but mostly it's just solid. Yeah, it's a 4/4 for 4, which is decent enough, and I don't know, it's a nice combat trick, and it's cheaper than 6 mostly. Okay. That's cute. I never know if that's really good enough. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but sometimes it can really change the game and you draw a card, but sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know. But again, I don't think I need to have this discussion because the Violet Teacher is pretty good by its on its own. By the way, yeah, it has, you know, the same stats as the Shield Master, which has good stats. Let's see how many spells I have. They're relevant. I have Shield, I have Nova, no, I have Mind Control, which doesn't really count. That's about it. And that's actually kind of surprising that I have so few spells. Interesting question. Okay, I'm going to take Mass Dispel. Mostly because I want to try it out some more, yeah, to see if it works well. Yeah, so, you know, guys, I'm not sure I would recommend to try this at home. I'm gonna go for the Mass Dispel. Abomination, by the way, is very solid. You know, it stalls the game, it clears the board often. I might regret this pick, but I'm gonna go with this silly Mass Dispel. Okay, moving on. Leper Gnome. I used to like it until I understood that, you know, the 2 damage to the enemy hero is usually, you know, just irrelevant. So here I'm gonna go for the Snapjaw. It's usually pretty solid on its own, especially since I can heal it, as we already talked about. Snapjaw it is. Wow, awesome cards. All 5 cards are very good. I'm gonna go with the Kodo because it's pure card advantage, A, and because I have tons of 4 drops. Holy Fire, I like it. It's not amazing. Yeah, I mean, I would rather draw a card instead of gaining 5 life, for example. But it's very playable. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice removal spell. Kodo it is. It works better with my, you know, mana curve, etc. Okay. I think most people don't like Lightwell. I actually really do, because it really stalls the early game. Yeah, I mean, he coins out 3/2, and then I just play a Lightwell, and then he's stuck. Yeah, because he attacks and just Lightwell heals it. He attacks again, Lightwell heals it again. Yeah, it's very annoying. Yeah, as a 2-drop. This is not a dilemma because I really have nothing else to pick. So Lightwell it is. And you know, like crazy combos, late, well, and cleric, and then I just, you know, win the game or something. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Again, Berserker, we'll talk about it. Since they changed, like a couple of months ago, the engineer from 1-2 to 1-1, I don't like it. It dies just too easily. But Acolyte of Pain is very nice. Again, because we have healing in the deck. Truly screws the other guy over if I, you know, attack, take 2 damage, heal him, then he needs to, you know, kill it again, etc. So I'll go with the Acolyte of Pain, especially since I don't really have, you know, I have 2 3-drops. I don't really want to play the Golem on the turn 3, so I'm lacking. So I'll take the Acolyte of Pain. Okay. All 3 cards are decent. None of them are spectacular, and I'm gonna go with the Smite because it's early removal and I'm scared of being overrun. I feel that, you know, if I get to mid-late game I'll be fine. Yeah, definitely. Thought Steal is actually nice. I think it's better than, you know, the draw 2 cards that the sorcerer have, the mage. Excuse me. I know it doesn't draw cards from your deck, which you know, postpones decking, fatigue. It shows you cards that your opponent might draw. It evens out the board if, you know, they have like 3 legendaries and you have none. Yeah, so I actually like Thought Steal a lot, but I feel like right now I need Holy Smite. I don't have enough spells, as we said before. I'm gonna take the Smite. Wow. Crappy cards. Okay. Magma Rager, really irrelevant. Okay. It just dies to anything random. I don't like it. Yeah. I mean, if it had charge, then it would be amazing, but it doesn't, so tough luck. Okay. Iron Beak Owl or the Knight? The Owl is not a 2nd drop, yeah. I hope you all understand that. Yeah, especially you might be forced to silence your own minion or something silly like that. But seriously, you keep it until you have a real target, and then it's quite useless as a 2-1. On the other hand, the Stormwind Knight again has tons of toughness, which I like. Has charge, it's very useful. And my only dilemma is that I have too many 4-drops. But I'm gonna go with the Knight. It's a better card. Wow! Oh my god! Go with the Nova, guys. When in doubt, go for the Mass Removal. It's something I learned in Magic the Gathering. Wow, that's so cool! Okay, now we don't have a dilemma. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pain. Why? Okay, why don't I take the Shadow Word Death? Because if we're like turn 7, I'm not as scared of his really big guy. Yeah, I can silence him. I can, you know, take over him. Maybe I can kill it if it is taunt. I'm not as scared of big guys. I'm more scared of, you know, being swarmed by little guys. If I don't draw a Nova. If I do, tough luck for him. Yeah. But the Pain Shadow Word will always have a target. Yeah, it will hit something. That said, we're taking it. Besides, it costs 2 mana, which is very nice. Yeah, it's like the best counter for you know, for early coined out 3/2 guy. Yeah. Okay. All 3 very good. Well, I mean, not very good. I said about the Amani Berserker that I liked him before. The Tiger is quite decent as well. Okay, the stealth really helps. I underestimated it at first, yeah, because I mean it's a 5/5. I don't care if it has, you know, stealth. Come at me, bro. Right? I'm so big. So no, it's actually very important. I'm kind of scared of playing 2 mind controls. Okay. Well, will I be a real staller, right? Because if I have 2 mind controls, it means that I'm just, you know, waiting for the game to draw out. It's kind of a removal spell as well. Yeah, I'm gonna do the really long game gambit. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, the Watcher, I mean, in an arena deck, it's really hard to make him worthwhile. Okay, yeah. I mean, how do you make him useful? You either give him taunt, or you silence him, which means that he can attack. Then you get a 2-drop. Yeah, like if I would have silence in my deck, it costs 0, right? So a 2-drop for 5, yeah, and your opponent is in trouble. In an arena deck, very unlikely. I wouldn't take it, like ever. Anyway, Ancient Mage. It's quite expensive for his stats. Yeah, I mean, will you give spell damage to adjacent minions? Right, so you need adjacent minions. Yeah, you need to have other guys that won't, you know, die next turn. And then, I mean, the only card that I really need the spell damage for is Holy Nova. And there is a very big difference between doing 2 damage to everyone or 3 damage to everyone. Yeah, I'll give him that. But that being said, I'm gonna go for the Pinside Summoner because I have tons of 4-drops, which, you know, synergizes exactly with the mana curve. And I don't know, and hope for the best. Yeah, it's an accelerator. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Okay, guys, this is my priest deck. I'm gonna draw games out and then win with mind control or something like that. I'm actually pretty happy with most of the deck. I'm not sure about the Miss Dispel pick at all. I'll see how it plays out. The Arcane Golem is gonna be a little bit tricky, but besides those two, I'm pretty happy with everything. Maybe the Squire is not that stellar. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I was Michael. Wish me luck.